I'm Matt McConnell, and I'm honored to be the Master of Ceremonies this morning for the first annual Atlanta HR Prayer Breakfast. So welcome. Back in December of 2008, about 30 people, the hosts that are here this morning, the people that invited you, got together to start planning this event. Can I get the hosts to stand up, please, and be recognized? Hosts, thank you very much for... The hosts have worked hard for over a year planning this event, and you guys did a fantastic job. Look around. Congratulations to you guys for planning a great event. It's a great turnout.
It is a privilege to introduce Wendell Bryant to you this morning, an HR colleague and a good friend. Wendell is the principal of Bryant Solutions Group, LLC. He has worked in business for 20 plus years. 15 of those years have been in human resources. He has held managerial and director level positions at General Mills Incorporated, Ernst & Young, and the Home Depot corporate offices. Wendell's current company, Bryant Solutions Group, provides consulting services in the areas of organizational assessment, recruiting, executive, career, and leadership coaching. Some of the companies that Wendell has consulted with are Pfizer, J.M. Huber, Capgemini, and the University of Georgia, where Wendell is a leadership coach for MBA students in the Terry College of Business. This morning, Wendell is going to share his faith story and the amazing ways that God has met him on his journey. Please join me in giving Wendell a warm welcome.
Good morning, Joel, and thank you for those kind words. To our guest speaker, Bud Paxson, to the Atlanta HR Breakfast Committee members, and to you, our invited guest. Before I begin, let me say this. This is not a political, human rights, or civil rights statement. Even more than that, it is a story that supersedes any government or earthly organization. It is a story of a mother's prayer and what the power of God through Jesus Christ can do to the life that fully surrenders their life to Him. Almost simultaneous to my brother's death, I became involved in the gay lifestyle. Fast forward 10 years, I moved back to Atlanta in 1997. And over the next 4 years, I felt like I'd achieved a modicum of professional and personal success. But I had begun to slip into the very dark world of sexual addiction. Suffice it to say that the places that I went and things that I did on a daily basis are unspeakable here this morning. That is what God was doing for me, just as my mother had taught me. God's power was in His Word. On October 20th, 2004, I went to the doctor and the testing showed that I was HIV negative. What I did not realize until several months later was that October 20th was the same day that the woman 2 years before had her hand on my head and prayed, "Lord, heal his body of AIDS." When I made a decision to follow Jesus and walk away from everything that I knew that made my life comfortable, it was the hardest thing that I've ever done. But it also has been the best decision that I've ever made. Thank you, and God bless you.
It's my great pleasure to tell you a little bit about our keynote speaker this morning, Bud Paxson. It takes courage to challenge Sharon Stone. And it takes courage to be an outspoken Christian in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Bud Paxson.
My name is Bud Paxson, and I was an entrepreneur. Now I work for God trying to build a little treasure in heaven. And at my stage in life, I can look back and see the events that shaped my life as an entrepreneur. At about 9 or 10, I asked my dad for $5. That's a long time ago. He said to me, no. There was a radio station. And that's where my career in broadcasting started. Getting coffee for the DJs, sweeping up, taking out the trash. And soon I was on the air in the morning, every Saturday, doing a show called Kitty Go Round. During high school and college, I worked as a disc jockey. And in 1956, after college graduation, I bought a minority interest in a radio station where I was working. Later, I acquired 100% of the station. I wasn't ready for what she said. When my wife spoke, her words were like a bolt of lightning out of a blue sky. She said she was in love with another man and was leaving me. That day, my life had become meaningless. My kids, who were in their late teens and mid-20s, stayed with me and tried to comfort me. When I was growing up, this is how I went to church. But at about 14, I was taller than my mother could reach up here. I stopped going. But about 5 a.m. on that New Year's morning, 1987, while reading the Gideon Bible, I realized I was separated from God by my sins. I read the sinner's prayer and asked Jesus to come into my life. A year later, we were married. That was 21 years ago. A marriage where both are committed Christians is something truly from God. I suggest you memorize them. Happy wife, happy life. If you prayed that prayer in your heart and you meant it, one day we'll see each other in heaven. That's all there is to it. That prayer, and you have eternal life. God bless you for saying the prayer and being here this morning. And now let me bring up Matt McConnell to close out today's prayer breakfast. Thank you.
Well, everyone, have a great day, and we will see you next year at the second annual Atlanta HR Prayer Breakfast.